Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So in this week's video I'm going to be asking the question of what does progress look like in photography, and having spent some time looking back over my photos for the last couple of years, I'm going to give you my thoughts on what that looks like, but feel free to put your own thoughts on this in the comments below.
They find love and their children play. The path is laid, they're on their way. A single look upon your face, and
So for me, the first place to start is actually the composition of the photo itself. So what I mean by that is, improvements in the balance of the shot. So making sure that there is not too much emphasis on one side of the shot, unless you're trying to do minimalism, in which case that can be a little bit of an advantage there. I'm also talking about just piecing together the shot in terms of having maybe one dominant element of the shot, using things like leading lines, as long as they actually end up leading to something. The separation of different elements within the shot as well. So making sure that things don't conflict with each other, particularly in the foreground. It's not so much of a problem in the background. And also having the ability to use different perspectives on your shot if you think having a different perspective is going to add something a little bit different to what you take.
see that there's a place for everyone, for everyone, for everyone but me.
So next on my list of progress is to have the ability to come away from every photography trip with at least one photo that you really like. And that means in any kind of weather conditions that you come out in. So yesterday I was doing photography very close to this area, and it was windy, gusts of wind, and it was raining, but I still managed to come away with photos that I enjoy. Those photos are going to be in this week's video, and a couple of shots that I really like. In the past, that would not have been the case. In the past, I probably wouldn't have come out in those conditions because they're hardly perfect weather conditions, particularly with wind. Rain, I don't mind so much, and in fact, in the last video, I talked about that. So adding to that is to not rely on the sky to do all of the heavy lifting, and therefore the light as well. So it comes back to my earlier point, the composition needs to be right. Just because you may be shooting at golden hour with some nice light doesn't mean to say that the photo is going to be any good. Ideally you want that to come together, but as I said before, you don't have to rely on good light to do all of the heavy lifting in the photo. It's about the ability to adapt and change, and that old adage is there's no such thing as bad light for photography.
And just like me, they turn to sand. A distant choir I can't join in. The darkness breaks.
So next on my list is actually editing. So firstly, that means just improvements in my editing. Things like color grading to fit the scene, and not just the scene as well, but to fit the season in which you are photographing. When it comes to black and white, I've got better at choosing which shots are going to be working better in black and white, which shots are going to work well in high contrast black and white, and also which shots are going to work well in low contrast. And of course, improving my editing of black and white photos.
The chains let go, and in their voices there is hope for everyone, for everyone, for
And of course, progress comes from understanding the technical aspects of your camera as well, and of photography therefore. So exposure, shutter speed, f-stop, therefore depth of field, getting to grips with that, fully understanding it, and therefore being able to experiment with all of those elements. And of course, where to focus as well is a really important part of that. Now, I actually mentioned technical last because for me, the most important thing is to get the shot right. You could go out on your camera, shoot in auto and let the camera to do all the thinking for you. You would still come away with some good shots because you're more interested in the art, you're more interested in the makeup of the shot and not the technical aspects of the camera.
Everyone, for everyone, for everyone but me. But dreamers dreaming
As a postscript, one area of progression for myself is to have the freedom now to take the photos that I want to take, to not fear being judged by the photos, to also edit in the way that I want to edit my photos and create a look that I really like and not worry about what other people like or don't like.
the gods are smiling upon me, so I give my
As always, thank you for watching and see you next time.